What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Let's try that again. All right. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. And I want to thank you all for joining us here today. A Lions Talk Live morning show edition. And we've got a little bit of a different format for you guys. We're going to do the 5 headlines now. We do have a special guest today, although I do need to be fair. Matthew Ehler from Mlive.com. He's got to message me how to get him the link. He's been on the show before, but to be honest, it's been a minute. So he's going to message me once he's ready. I'm going to have to probably pause for like 15, 20 seconds, send him the link, get him on air, yada, yada, yada. That'll be around 7:30 or about halfway through the show. But we're going to do something a little bit different today, something we did last year. We had mock draft simulations with you guys of the Duke Crew, and we're going to do that here. I figure why not? We more or less have a week until the NFL draft. We've all heard the speculation about who we're going to take, what we're going to do, yada, yada, everything in between. I figured why not do an interactive mock draft with the Duke Crew. So how it'll work, I'll put it on the screen, and then, hey, we'll go through all 7 rounds. We'll go through it kind of fast. We'll say, hey, I'll give you guys like 10, 15 seconds to pick out who you want the Lions are going to take in that round. And no, it's not going to be perfect. Yes, you're not going to be able to see every possible pick out there. We'll kind of Scooby-Doo it, get through it, and don't ask me to make trades or whatever because it's just too difficult and takes up too much time to replicate it. But I figured, hey, you guys probably need something a little different. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to get into all that above. All right, real quick, before we get the show rocking and rolling and going, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, why the heck not? I mean, if you're here watching the show on a regular basis, why not subscribe? Help support the channel. Hey, we need 65 more subs to hit 13,600 subs. So if you can help out with that, that would be most wonderful and great. Also, if you have a half second of time, it doesn't cost you a dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, help the channel on out. As you probably know, if you watch YouTube for any length of time, people are helped out, YouTube content creators, by all the likes, comments, whatever you want to say, all the interactions you have with it. So if you can, hit that like button. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but never least, in case you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Yes, I'm a little tired today. I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and just couldn't go back to sleep. So I only really got like 3 hours sleep last night, and I am feeling it a little bit. All right, so let's, without those facts now known out of the way, let's get this show moving with 5 headlines now. And yes, for all the people who are going to say I need to update some of these videos, intros, once we get through the draft, once we get down to the 53-man cut down day and stuff like that, we know who the final roster is going to be. That's when I'll update everything. That way I don't have to do it a gajillion times every time a new person's added or subtracted from the team. All right, you got all that. Let's get headline rolling and get to it now. Trading Jameson Williams now would be a mistake for the Lions. Athlon Sports story by John Vaccaro. I agree. Plain and simple. Don't need to beat this one up. There is, if it's me running the show, and it sounds like Johnny Vaccaro is in the same mindset, there is 0.0 chance I'm trading Jameson Williams. I can only offer you guys my thoughts. Vaccaro in the story breaks it on down. You guys all know it. I know, what do you call it? Valetti and Rico had the story yesterday. You had a gajillion different teams podcasts, radio shows, huge, everybody else in between, Micro Mike, everybody was on the same story. Let's face it, it was a story yesterday that the Lions could potentially trade Jameson Williams. You can have your own opinions on it. I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. The Lions have brought in Matthew Golden. Yes, he is expected to go to in the first round. Yes, he's a player of interest, probably for a lot of teams. And yes, I don't think the Lions are going to trade Jameson Williams. He got 2 years left on his deal. He is a generational athlete. He's getting better and better and better, in my opinion. You can have your own opinion, but I get the speculation. It is that time of year. It is a week before the draft. People are always trying to look for little clues here and there, what every team is going to do. What we're talking about on Lions Talk Live and, Boss Up, Ball Out podcast, Micro Mike show, whoever else the show you want to talk about, a lot of it is speculation. There's rumors, innuendos, breakdowns, what do you want to say? It's that time of year. And yes, I get Jameson Williams probably would bring in some real good draft capital or whatever for the Detroit Lions. That being said, can you imagine the Detroit Lions offense without him? You probably could to a certain degree, but how different would it be? You've got a new OC who wants a vertical game. Do you really think he'd want to get rid of potentially one of the NFL's 1 or 2 or 3 fastest guys in the league? I don't think so, but it's worth debating. You guys let me know, what would the cost be or the return be in the comment section? If you're Brad Holmes and you actually make this move, you trade Jameson Williams, what do you honestly think the Lions would get in return for him? I do think that Jameson Williams would bring in a pretty good haul. I don't think it's going to be like 4 first-round picks or 2 first-round picks or something like that. I do think he'd get quite a lot for him, but I also don't think the Lions are interested in trading him. Been wrong before, though, so we'll see what shakes out. Mikhail Starks wants to intercept a pass from Lions Jared Goff, story by DT AP Wire. Yes, you have a beat reporter on this one, and you do have a couple other people all over this. Starks, I think if you break down the best safeties in this draft, he is the number one guy. And there's a couple others you could say are right behind him. But when you look at his ability to play coverage, tackle, support, and run defense, he's all over the place. And if the Lions took him at 28, I at least would not be sad. I think he would take over the iffy role. And you know what? That makes Detroit's secondary so much the better. Now, with that being said, I think we all agree we don't want the Lions to get somebody who can just go eat the other quarterback alive. He can be a lion out there and maul them. See what I did there? But either way, whatever it's going to happen, I wouldn't be upset to get this guy. I like his personality. I like his demeanor on the field. I like how he flips the switch and goes from nice guy to a killer out there on the field. All the things about him I enjoy, and I like his confidence in the fact he wants to go out and pick a pass from every quarterback in the league. If he's on the field, he wants to get the ball and he wants to score touchdowns. That's a heck of a thing for a defender. There will be a lot of debate what's going to happen with the Lions. We'll do some of it today. I think if the Lions get this guy, though, I at least am not mad. What say you do, crew? Would you want Starks? Let me know in the comments section. All right, next to the 5 glorious headlines now. Have the Detroit Lions left clues about their 2025 NFL draft plans? Question mark. The New York Times by Colton Pouncey. Colton Pouncey, and anytime I can get the New York Times to cover the Detroit Lions and on here, I'm probably going to do it. I'm not going to break down this entire article. It's just too long. It's too lengthy. But if you get an opportunity today, I would say go out and check it out. Edge rusher is clearly listed in there. The story does break down a couple of different potential moves for the Lions and who they might select. They do point out the releasing of Zadarius Smith, in their opinion, or Colton Pouncey's opinion, is a big clue. The Lions are all in to get an edge rusher in the first round. He even kind of notes in the story, the Lions are going to be moving up in the first round to acquire said individual, person of interest for the team, because he does believe there's no way you're letting go of someone like Zadarius Smith, who's a top 10 person in the NFL last year and getting pressures, this, that, and the other thing, unless you had a clear plan to bring in somebody who supersedes Smith. You get an opportunity today, check out the story, but I think there's a lot of good detailed information in here. All right, next to the 5 glorious headlines, now discussion. Which Lions pass rusher will make the biggest jump in 2025? SB Nation story by Hakaz Bakrouche, So I'm probably killing that name. And again, you guys, if you watch the show for any length of time, you know, something I do regularly. But either way, let's see what they have to say. So when you break down all the different people, and they go through Alaquin Muhammad, Davenport, Pascal, who's going to make the biggest leap? You know, if I had to throw a question at you guys in the comments section, who do you think will make the biggest leap? Throw me your answers right now before I reveal you what the story has to say. Yeah, go ahead and I'll give you like 10 seconds to put it in there. And who you think will make the biggest leap? I'll just say 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The answer for the story is Marcus Davenport. And I know, Pierce, I know you're not going to like that one, but it is what it is. They just think Davenport, in analyzing everything, if he could stay healthy, he would be a legitimate starter. Not a star, but a legitimate NFL starting end. And I agree. He can play run defense. We saw last year he can get after the quarterback. He provides a lot of issues for teams. But what's the biggest problem for Marcus Davenport? He can't stay on the field. Oh, you saw flashes with him in 2023 with the Vikings. Obviously, last year with the Lions, he made some impacts. He just couldn't stay out there long enough to get out there. Could it be this would be the year he actually stays healthy? If he does, man, you're probably getting somewhere between 8 to 12 sacks. 8 to 12 sacks is not a bad end. And if he gets in the backfield, gets pressures on top of it, you're getting a lot of good upside out there. Alaquin Muhammad is the next person on the list. You could see, and I agree with this one. I thought you could see clear development from him last year in a limited capacity. And then as he got more and more playing time with all the injuries, you could see real growth there. We all get Aiden Hutchinson is going to be the beast on the field for this defensive line, unless whoever they bring in the draft, really supersedes some of these other guys. You're probably looking at Alaquin Muhammad being right behind Marcus Davenport as the people that make the biggest leap going forward. All right, next and last of the 5 headlines now. Let me get back over to the screen. Man, I'm messing up here. Why 2 potential Lions draft picks are, quote, risky propositions, end quote. Detroit Lions on SI by John Macron. So we'll get through this one real quick, and then, I got to send that link over to Matthew Ehler from Mlive. First one he has out there is Shamir Stewart. We all get it. The Lions, seem to like this guy. You look at their top 30 visits. They've been all over him. I get it. He would be a person of interest. Mikal Williams is the next one. Both of them, you've heard all sorts of stuff one way or the other with it. Williams, I think it's sort of like a Davenport situation. He just has a lot of injuries in his history. Could it be the Lions go for him? Of course, it is a potential situation where the Lions could go for either one of these guys. Now, why they don't like Stewart as much, I'm going to leave that up to your debate. He has the physical skills, and he is among the most athletic prospects coming out of college, but his lack of pass rush moves is probably the biggest reason I would assume most people would have a red flag with it. If you feel like the athlete is there and you just need to coach him up, though, I'm guessing that's why a team's going to take him, especially a team like the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions trust in their coaching staff exponentially. They believe they can get there, do that, all the above. And you know what? Based on the results, you'd have to say that they're right, because the Lions coaching staff has been able to generate good success with returns on their investment. They've done a phenomenal job developing guys over their tenure here in Detroit. And you know what? A lot of those guys have panned out. So I don't mind it. And I think if the Lions went that direction with Stewart, I'd be okay with that. I'm assuming most of you would be. You can't teach athleticism. You can't teach size. You can't teach all the above. So, all right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get the show rocking and rolling into the main topic of the day. We're going to have a little fun with it. I'll try to give everybody as much due credit as possible when going through this, but understand I'm not going to be able to get everybody's selection. I'm just going to go with my best guess as far as majority rules, but let's go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day, and that's going to be the interactive mock draft. All right, interactive mock draft. Let me pull it up on the screen, and I did just send, talk about timing, the link over. And let me just text him, let me know. You can message me back if he has any problems getting it. But we'll kind of shotgun through this. Let me bring it up on the screen. Hold on, I got to hit buttons. Lots of buttons being hit here. All right, let me see. All right, mock draft. All right, I don't know if this is the best site or whatever, but let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger here. And yes, I get some people aren't going to be able to see it as well. hey, doing the best we can here to keep everybody entertained while doing this. All right, so how it's going to work, I'm going to hit go. We're going to go through it, and we'll see the options that present themselves. You guys make the calls. It will be majority rule, and don't ask me about making trades. If we get off, I've got to reset it here. I forgot to pick the Lions. All right, well, hey, got to make things happen live on air here. And this mock draft is jumping around to get started, so you can see it on the screen. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll see what ends up shaking out here. Let's see it. All right, we have a trade offer, so we will entertain these if the computer generates it. I'm not going to mess with it otherwise. Tennessee is offering us pick 35 and their second-round pick for pick 28. Let's see if there's any. There's one other here. Tampa Bay offers pick 53 and their 2026 second and third. So let's start with this. Take one of the trades or reject one of the trades. I'm giving you 10 seconds in the comment section to say trade yes, no, and if you're going to say trade yes, you got to let me know which of the trades. So go ahead and throw out your answers. I guess I can play the game show music while we're doing this, right? I do love that music. Hex, no. Trade up. Yeah, we can't do it. Take trade number 2. No. All right. 3 more seconds. Reject both. Who's available? Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to reject the both. All right. So here's what you got on the board. If you guys can see it. You got Starks, the 19th overall selected or valued player. I guess you say ranked player. Nick Scorston, Mika Buka, the wide receiver from Ohio State. James Pierce Jr., Jackson Dart, Luther Burden III. Let's see, Williams, defensive tackle from Ohio State. Jalen Milroe, quarterback from Alabama. So those are your top selections. So you guys let me know in the comments section, where are you going with this? And no, you don't get everybody, and I don't have all day to hear, so you got to go with what you see on the screen, and I'm trying to show you as much as can be. So let me know in the comments section, what do you want? Starks, Pierce, Scorton? Man, we're off to a shock. All right, we got 2 for Scorton. All right, about 5 more seconds. You got to throw your answers in that comment section. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, we got to tie it. Pierce. Scorton, all right, Scorton in the lead now with 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we're going to take Scorton, Nick Scorton. So for those who don't know, he is roughly 260 pounds, 6'2", might be the most athletically pleasing pass rusher in the class. He's wise beyond his years. Hey, sounds like a Detroit Lion. All right, ending the debate, we're selecting good old Nick the Quick. All right, moving down to pick 60. Let's see what presents themselves here. We have trade offer. Lions would send 60 and 196 to Dallas for 76. Dallas's 2026 third and fourth round pick. That is the only trade offer. Trade yes or just draft. Let me know. Trade yes or no. We did take Scorton. There we go. I know a couple people on Pierce Jr., and I don't blame you, but is what it is, man. No on the trade. I'll give you 5 more seconds. You got to type fast. Decline. All right. No. All right. We're going to go with the no's. The no's have had it. We will reject the trade. Now let's look at who's on the board. We got Xavier Watts, Travion Hendrickson, Caleb Johnson. Let's see. Juxon, Jalen Rose, TJ Sanders, Higgins. Man, we got a couple good players here. So if you see anybody on the list, I know it's not always, if you guys are watching on your phone or you're driving or whatever, it's not always easy. Let's go by, I tell you what, defensive tackle. Let's see who's out there. Anybody of interest? Let's see, edge. In case you guys wanted to double down or go for another edge. Josiah Stewart's still there. He's probably a little bit of a reach here. But all right, now you guys know. Let me know in the comment section where you want to go. Just draft? All right. Trade up? I wish I could, man. Higgins, yeah, I like Higgins. Draft, Higgins. All right, Higgins. Sounds like Higgins is the winner, so we're going to go ahead and take Higgins. Boy, where was he? Where was Higgins? All right, right there. Higgins, wide receiver from Ohio State. So for those who don't know, 6'4". Yeah, I love the Raz score. Yeah, big guy, big hands, big vertical, all this stuff. So, and he's got impressive ball skills. So, all right, Higgins it is. So we're taking a wide receiver, probably a little earlier than most would have anticipated. But, hey, he's now a Detroit Lion. We're going to move on down to pick 102 on your FM dial. And going on down, trade offer. You know what? We're just going to reject the trades from here on out. Just keep this show rocking and rolling and going. All right, so we're at 102. You got running back, let's see, Caleb Johnson from Iowa. Safety, Ransom from Ohio State. Helm, tight end from Texas. I mean, you guys see what's up here. I don't have to announce them all here. But if you edge, I wouldn't mind that. So let's look at edge just because I know people are going to ask about defensive tackle and edge. Joshua Farmer, probably the highest one out there at defensive tackle. Edge, you know, Sawyer Diggs. Yeah, I know Diggs. Yeah, that will be a person of interest. Probably might be a little bit high for him, but what say you guys all? If you see it on the screen, throw it at me what you want. Kennard South, he is. I would agree with that. Let's see. Birch, Ferguson, offensive line, Sawyer, Jack Sawyer, all right. So we're going to see. Oh, boy, did I see Sawyer? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Let me go back. Sawyer is there. All right. Sawyer wins. Sawyer is now a Detroit Lion. Speeding on through to, we're going to reject the trades just to keep this thing moving. Like I said, don't want to spend all day with it. All right, so let's review our picks so far. Edge, Nick Thornton from Texas. Jalen Higgins from wide receiver, Ohio State. And then edge, Ohio State. We're really getting edge heavy here. But Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. All right, so what say you do, crew? If you want me to try to target a person of interest or position, I guess you can let me know in the comment section. Man, Dante Thornton sitting there staring at you. Hey, there is Chase Ludent from offensive lineman, 6'7". Yeah, a little bit of a RAS score, not incredibly high, but look at the screen, see what you have to say. Is there anything you want? Let me know in the comments section below. Dan's cousin, yes, Dante Thornton, yeah, I do like him. Birch. Let's see, offensive lineman. Lions are going to take offensive line on the first and second pick. Could be. Linebacker, Thornton's still there and draft him. D-line, let's see. All right, sorry. Target, Landon Jackson, offensive line. All right, I guess we'll have to make a move here. Let's see. All right, we'll go offense. How about offensive tackle? Guard. Oof, I think they're all kind of reaches at this point. But let's see what you guys have to say. All right, 3 more seconds on this one. Jalen Reed, offensive line, all line. Take Thornton. You know what? We're going to take where was he? Reed, safety. Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah. Oops, sorry. The Siri's talking to me. All right, we're going to take Jalen Reed. And, it's hard for me to always tell you who's the majority, but I think enough of you guys want him, we'll go after him. So far, a pretty good defensive draft for the Lions. Plus, hey, man, you got a heck of a wide receiver in Higgins. Man, if you could add him to that Lions passing attack, I think we're all going to be pretty dang happy. All right, 196 here. Now, we're getting later in the draft. People aren't as known. You do have Jake Majors. Let's bring him up on the score. 8, not a bad 8-point RAS score, 6'3", 300 pounds. This is typically where the Lions like to start selecting a lot of their offensive linemen, as you guys know. And hey, to be fair, Christian Mahogany looks like a steal last year. You see what's on the big board there? I'll see if I can scroll down a little bit more, give you a few more looks here. But if there's somebody you want, go ahead and throw it in the comments section. Take last Saki. There we go. Jalen Reed is all right. Yes, Majors, Reed, defensive tackle. All right, Majors it is. I think we're going to just go with Majors. And, hey, he's not related to the Lee Majors, but we're going to draft him. All right, pick 228 is coming right on up. Survey says. All right, you see the big board here. Again, I get where this is going to get to the point in the draft where it's some of the names aren't as familiar. But if you see someone on the screen, you got Allen, running back, Syracuse, Lanchi, tight end, Iowa, Kobe King, linebacker, Penn State, Patrick Jenkins, defensive tackle, Tulane, and I'll just throw him up there. A little bit light. Hey, I do know this guy, Jacob Giddens from Western Michigan University. Not bad at all. Probably needs to bulk up a little bit, but yeah, I do know him. Let's see, Marks, running back from the USC. A bit more of a pass-catching running back than probably a running threat, but maybe just the system. And then Howard Cross III, another person, probably a better defensive end, a big end than anything. But if you see anything on the screen, let me know. I'll give you a couple seconds. Latchy. All right. Well, Latchy it is. We've added a tight end. And then I believe this is the final pick for the Detroit Lions. Not a big change here. I'll give you guys about 5 seconds, if you please. Go through this list, see what you see. Try to give you a little bit of a look here. Hey, trying to have a little fun with the interactive mock draft for you guys here. Hey, Shiloh Sanders. Hey, could have a Sanders on the team. Unfortunately, he's not his dad, as you guys know. Time for the Project Tasky, if he's still there. Running back Edwards out of Michigan. You know what? All right. I don't see Edward. No, he is. Donovan Edwards is still there. Yeah, he does have that Raz, man. Cornerback from Western. All right, let me go to defense and see if he's still there. He is, yeah. Cone, yeah. He's not bad. 6'1". Yeah, he doesn't have quite the best speed, but he's not slow by any means. So, all right, couple more seconds here. Edwards, Sanders. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and in an upset move, the Lions will draft. Survey says. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to go Sanders. There we go. All right, so that will conclude the draft for the Lions. 8. You see it on the board. There's your final draft. Lions, defensive heavy, Thornton, Higgins, man, if they got him in the second round, I don't think I'd be complaining at all. I would say this has the potential to make the Lions that vertical threat with J-Mo on one side, Higgins on the other side. Man, Laporta eating underneath along with St. Brown. Whew! If you send those Higgins and Williams deep routes on the sidelines, how many guys can you really leave in the box to stop the running game? That might be a big, big problem. All right, so we've gone through all that. We're going to go ahead and bring over our special guest of the day once I get back on the screen at least. So you guys may not know him. He's been on the show a few times. He's from Mlive. He is the guy with the most. He's all over the place. He's here. He's there. He's every skipping where. So let's go ahead and get over to, man, where is the special guest of the day button? There we go. Hey, we're going to get Matthew Ehler from Mlive. Mighty Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. Dan is the man, and the Do Crew is out today. Man, that was quite an introductory. I feel like Adam Schefter out here.
Hey, we bring in only the highest priced talent we can afford. So there we go. We get it. The Lions are, let's face it, we're a week away from the draft, even though, it starts a week from tomorrow. There's all sorts of speculation. Yesterday, Dave Burkett had a story that, hey, the Lions might trade Jameson Williams. They might go for Matthew Golden in the first round, this, that, and the other thing. We just ran the the first of the year interactive mock draft here, and we had Higgins on the board for the Lions. Where do you really think, if you had to digest and guess what the Lions are going to do in the first round, trade up, trade back, stay pat, what do you see us doing?
Man, that's tough. But I think with what Holmes has done in the past, he's addressed last year. He addressed need. This year, I think it follows suit. The secondary was an issue last year. He went out and got 2 of them in early, and I think it's the same kind of a thing this year. I could see us trading up, to the top 10. I'm not certain about that. It seems like a lot of capital to get there. But I do think edge is, I was on edge last year. I mean, I thought Marshawn Nealon was a great fit for us last year. Obviously he's in Dallas now, but I think edge is the glaring need. We need somebody opposite side of Hutchinson in the worst way. Marcus Davenport is not going to do it for us. I mean, the guy is so injury prone. Who knows what's going to happen with Zadarius Smith? That saga continues, and so it's got to be edge, man. This is it. This is our time to create some havoc. Our secondary is looking good, and it's the most need right now for us.
Yeah, I agree, and I get it's speculation season. Everything's going to be mocked, talked about, potential. Jared Goff was rumored to go for 29 first-round picks. I think, to the Dallas Cowboys, and instead we get Dak Prescott. By the way, the dire wolf has been extinct for 10,000 years, and they have more championship appearances, Super Bowl appearances, or the same amount, I should say, as Dak Prescott. So, all right. Anyways, leaving the Dallas Cowboys alone here. One of the trade scenarios that does seem like it's gained some weight or momentum in recent days is the Lions potentially trading Hendon Hooker, the 28th pick, and some other stuff up to the number 9 spot. You've heard a lot of national reporters saying that if Sanders falls past pick 3 or 4, that the Saints are going to be compelled to try to get their future quarterback because Derek Carr has got some injury history. Could you see the Lions moving all the way up to pick 9?
I think it's possible. Yeah, the way that Holmes has been able to wheel and deal in the past, you look at where he got Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think it's certainly possible. And I mean, this is the year to do it, right? I mean, we didn't make any kind of splash in free agency that all the fans were hoping for, like a Trey Hendrickson or obviously Myles Garrett, but that was going to take a lot, and there's a lot of talent in this class, but it's not so like show-stopping talent, like I feel like there's just a well-balanced class, and obviously that edge, it's I think it's certainly possible. I wouldn't put it past Holmes, and if you get up there, Shamar Stewart or Jalen Walker, holy cow, that would be outstanding to get one of those guys. Stewart's probably a little bit more of a project. He doesn't have as much production. But to get a guy like Jalen Walker, you might have to go up even higher, but still, that guy is a freak of nature. You can set him anywhere. He's a chess piece. To have that guy just in space, just to line him up, in different areas. Obviously he's so darn good, at rushing the passer. So to get an explosive talent, that would be an immediate upgrade. And can you imagine Hutchinson and Walker just, wreaking havoc on either end, to pair with our secondary that's, going to even take a step further next year. Gosh, Holmes, I wouldn't put it past him. J-Mo, he traded up for J-Mo. So yeah, I think it's certainly possible.
Every mock draft's going to be different. When we just did this live one, you had some names go up there that probably most Lions fans did not anticipate. You look at the Ohio State receiver Higgins that the Duke crew selected in the 2nd round. We talk about edge, and let's just say the Lions do move up and get a good starting edge, somebody who can come in, freak athlete, whatever it is. But now if you add someone who's 6'4" with all the speed that Higgins has, and you put them out on the field with a Gibbs, with a David Montgomery, with a Laporta, with a St. Brown, with a J-Mo, I mean, how much offense, how hard would it, let me rephrase this, how hard would it be to game plan defense for this team?
Defensive coordinators would be losing sleep, man. They would have nightmares over that, a vertical threat that's able to stretch the field again more than J-Mo. Good night. Like, good luck, everybody. Like that would be just showtime, man. I mean, like I'm thinking about the Rams, the greatest show on turf, like goodness gracious, that's a lethal unit. And that'd be so exciting, right? I mean, and Holmes has been able to do that too. Like he's jumped on board of making a strength even more of a strength in the draft. And so that would be awesome. And listen, I mean, don't put it past him. We just had a workout with Matthew Golden, right? And who knows what's going to happen with that. That guy's a game breaker as well. In my honest opinion, I certainly don't think we're going to trade Jameson Williams. I do. That would be my worst nightmare for that guy to go. Just there's nobody like him in the league. Just in terms of being able to create electrifying plays, you just see it time and time again. There's just really nobody else like that guy. So I think you hold on to him. But yeah, I mean, to get a receiver in that category, and, you know, make it build. And that's the thing. Like, you know, Holmes addressed that at the meetings last month. Like, he was like, listen, we need some youth in that department. We need somebody that's going to come in. Obviously Tim Patrick is a veteran, so we'll see what happens with him next year. Probably going to let him walk, and a guy like that, a talent like that to come in. I mean,
he's a big boy too.
That would be nasty.
You know, I know the Duke crew have a little fun with this just because I had the Lions taking, I think I've run 2 mock drafts so far, had us taking edge and then offensive line. And then I think it was round 3 or 4, Dante Thornton, no relation, I don't believe, but
sure?
if he is, hey, good for him, man.
That? I don't know.
He's right. He might be, man. He might be. I'm gonna have to check out my phone and see if he's in there. But I mean, he is a freak athlete, and with Higgins, I think you're kind of in the same thing there. He needs more development, but we'll wait and see. A lot of the Duke crew and a lot of the pundits say the Lions need to address offensive line fairly soon in the draft. But in recent weeks, comments have come out from Brad Holmes talking a little bit about Giovanni Manu, Christian Mahogany. We still have Graham Glasgow. Could you see a situation where maybe the Lions don't address the offensive line because the last 2 drafts, they have brought in some good young talent. Some of them have needed a little time to gel. Could they potentially be ready now so they could focus the draft picks on other guys?
I don't think so. I think we take at least one offensive lineman in this draft. I really do. I think just with the way it's looking, Mahogany, sure, like he stepped in, but that was only 2 games last year. You don't know what you're going to get with Graham Glasgow. Obviously, he's a proven veteran, but I think you need somebody else to bring in some youth and make it a more competitive room. Obviously, it's still one of the best in the league, but to address that, I think is another need. And, you know, I sure as heck hope they don't go that with their first round pick, but I've seen a lot of mock drafts, you know, selecting an offensive lineman there in the first round, like a Gray Zabel, Tyler Booker, you know, Calvin Banks, one of those guys. But I think it's something that you take a look at, you know, in the later rounds. Yeah, I think there's some need for a little bit of juice in that room. Obviously, you look at Frank Ragnow, you know, he's getting later in his career, and a replacement for him is going to come down, you know. So, you know, could it be another project guy like a Mahogany? Who knows? But yeah, I think it's something that we do address. We'll see where it's at. But yeah, I don't think that we skip on that. You know, Holmes has always addressed or stressed the importance of the offensive line, and that's been just a rock solid foundation of us. We've built through it, and I don't think we're going to shy away from that anytime soon.
All right, man, I want to thank you for your time. I know it's early in the morning, and I do appreciate you calling us or phoning in or whatever from the Mountain Dew room, the green room with the green trees and everything in the background. So why don't you go ahead and give us a shout out, tell everybody about yourself, where they can find you, your most excellent work, and help support your content.
Yeah, you know, I'm drinking that Mountain Dew today. I got to stay on it. You know, I got to get the vibes around me. And, you know, hey, you can follow me on Twitter at Matthew Ehler. You know, I producing some great content. And one time for the Western Michigan Bronco boys right here, you know, their hockey national championship, first time in program history, you know, last week. If you guys didn't check that out, I got a ton of coverage on that. Great to see Pat Ferschweiler in his 4th year get that program rolling in the right way, and a natty. First time the Broncos have won a national championship since 1965.
Correct.
Hello. You know, so that's what we got cooking on right there. And then at Mlive, be sure to look at me there. I'm doing all sorts of Kalamazoo sports coverage. It's spring season. So we got softball, baseball, tennis, golf, all those sports cooking up for you. Be sure to follow me over there. And again, you know, I appreciate you having me on, Dan. It's always great to talk Lions ball. And can you believe we're a week away from the draft? My goodness.
I do think it's going to be one of the most anticipated drafts in Lions history, just because they really can go in so many different directions. So, all right, man, I'll let you get back to your day, get going, and thanks for getting up extra early to be on the show. I know it's not for everybody. Trust me, I reach out to people like, what time? Nah, I'm good.
Hey, it's giving me a great start to my day. I got my cup of coffee right here. We're getting this train rolling, baby. Let's go.
I like it, man. All right, I'll have to contact you again and set up another time, maybe after the draft, for you to come on and give us your expert opinions on where we went right, where we went wrong, and where we can improve the team before the season.
Edge rusher, and maybe another edge rusher. That's where
I
we're
like
at.
the way you're thinking. I like it. All right, my friend, you have a great day. We'll see you on the next Lions Talk Live.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Shout out to the Do Crew.
We'll see you now. All right, that was Matthew Ehler from Mlive. And hey, as always, I know I just mentioned it to you guys. I do reach out to a lot of different people about trying to get them on. A lot of people just are not always open-minded to coming on that early in the morning. And there's lots of different reasons for it. Work schedules, life schedules, got to get the kids to school, this, that, and the other thing. So it is what it is. So when somebody does take time out of their day to come on, just try to be appreciative of it. When we have Anthony from Roar Lions UK, I get it's a little different time there. When Kurt Steele comes on, I mean, he's getting ready for his own show when he comes on. Matthew Ehler, when he comes on, hey, it's just kind of the same thing. You're getting up on the day, especially if you're a sports reporter. When I used to work for in the AP or other news outlets covering stuff, a lot of times I didn't get home until 2 or 3 in the morning, because you think about what time sports typically are, especially if you're covering the professional sports like the NBA, Major League Baseball, or NHL. Sometimes those games don't get done until 10, 11 at night. Then you got to go write up the story, get it online, get it edited, etc. So for someone to come on over, especially for someone from Mlive, they're probably not going off much sleep. All right, enough about the jibber jabber, though. Let's get back to you guys in the Duke Crew. We've got about 20 minutes to go. Let's see, Detroit D. He's Fitzbrad's MO, injured players and Williams. I did see some of Mekhi Williams. Yeah, that was one of the biggest questions about him. He does have an injury history, a pretty good one, but it does seem like Ed Bradholm's pick with that being mentioned. Frank Tank, what are you all going to say when this offense is top 3, defense is top 5? Go Lions. We did just kind of talk about that. If you can get the right edge, and when you guys selected Higgins, I wasn't mad about it. I know some of you guys kind of briefly scanned the comment section, didn't want to go that way, but I know we just talked about it with Mighty Matt. You put someone who's, whatever he is, 6'4", 6'5", out there with those speeds on the opposite sideline of Jameson Williams. You've got to, if you're the defense, you probably got to commit 4 guys to cover those 2 going deep, because you probably don't want to leave anybody in single coverage. That's not going to go well for the vast majority of defensive backs out there. So if you've got 4 committed to 2, that means there's only 7 guys guarding the rest of the field, and you do have to send some people after the quarterback. Frank, right now, there you go. Silver Surfer Golden does not play as fast as his 40 time, which is real. Okay, good to know. Big D, take a second. All right, Hex No, trade up. Yeah. All right, we'll try to get through some of these stuff about that stuff, about the mock draft. Let me scroll on down here, get past all this stuff, just because obviously you guys don't want to read through that stuff. All right, Pastor Ben, let's see. Good morning, Coach Dan. I can't wait for the draft to be behind us. All the speculation and trading is getting expensive. I think we'll end up upping up around 15, get an edge, and some backup line players. Yeah, in my personal opinion, I know it sounds like most of you guys are all for the trade-up scenario. To me, what I try to do when I try to mock trades is, does it work for both teams? Do both teams get something of need out of it? That's why in the first mock draft, and I probably need to put out my 3rd and final mock draft here in the next couple of days or whatever before the draft gets too close. But that's why I had us trading up to 15. I felt like the value, what both teams got, really helped both franchises because their needs are completely different. Not an exchange we take a wide receiver that early. Not a chance. Okay, we'll go with that. Trim Reaper. Kennard is solid. Yes, he is. Jaquez Hunter, halfback Auburn. There you go. Birch. All right, still in the sorry. All right, Jack Sawyer, 100%. Yep. Silver Surfer. We already got scored to Sawyer 4. I guess depth and rotation, right? Marcus, Dan's cousin, Dante Thornton. Yeah, I do like him, and not just because he's got a cool last name either. Motown Mitch, boy, we will be upset if this is what the Lions make to make this draft. I don't know. There's some stuff there that I would like. There's some stuff I don't maybe you could draft around. But at the end of the day, you have to go with the best players at each pick. Hey, go with it, and the Duke crew has spoken. Let's see, Big D Thornton's still there. Draft him. You always draft the Thornton, right? All right, let me get through a few more of these. I know from the comments section. All right, let's see. Nice draft by the best fans in the NFL. I would agree with that 100%, Damien, 100%. Big D, Mighty Matt, what's crack-a-lackin'? Hey, thanks for coming on the show, 100%. Marcus, A+ draft grade due for the Duke crew. I'll go with that, man. You know, I get we can all have our wants and stuff, want this guy, want that position. End of the day, though, you may not always get that. That's why, really, at this point, you probably got a few more sessions with every NFL franchise where they're doing the war room mock drafts and trying to come up with every scenario. What if this guy's there, not the guy? And most teams that I'm privy to, you know, from watching stuff and learning things over the years, you probably go through about 20 different scenarios for each draft selection. This guy's not here, that guy's, because we get it. You only have so much time on the clock. You want to be prepared for every situation. All right, Brent laughing. Let's see. So the only picks I liked were Thornton and Sanders, 2 edges and not a defensive tackle. This is a drunken draft. Hey, unless you want to force it where you get somebody who's really not that great at that pick, I mean, I guess that's what we could say. Man, what's he going back on that window? All right. I don't know. A little laughing. Frank, no. So Marcus, what have you been drinking? That draft is C+ C- draft. I like the draft personally, but that's just my opinion. Frank, I agree. Detroit Lions are not going to draft for need, don't they? They never do. All right, yeah, they don't. They draft what they feel is the best player available. I agree with you there, 100% there, Frank. Service, I like Shamar Stewart. If it's not Grant, then I can live with Shamar. There you go. JK, happy Trader Day, Benedict, Eggs Benedict Day, Ben Johnson Day. All right, maybe it's something going on with Ben Johnson Day. I don't know. Kerry, morning crew, just in time to see one pick you might be right on. All right, it happens. Eddie's Fish, Stewart, and Graham, and Edwards out of Michigan. Let's see if those happen. Frank Tank, and there's only one football. There is only one football, unless you divide it into two. Silver, man, that plant is craving light. Yes, it is. Man, we're really all over that plant there. Frank Tank, Detroit Lions will shock the world in their first pick at 28. That would be a little bit. JK backstabbing Judas. There you go. I like Jameson Williams. Who doesn't? I mean, maybe some Lions fans don't, but I do like the kid. Frank Tank, if we lost Jameson Williams, we would still be top 5 offense. I'll go with that. Frank Tank, but we will not lose Williams. I agree. Server. There is the more we move forward, the less I feel I know what the Lions are going to do. I only know what I hope they'll do. Probably the best statement right there. You know, we all have hopes, dreams, what they're going to do. But, you know, hey, at the end of the day, who's going to be on the other side of that phone call when they make the selection? JK, JMO for a draft spot in a second. Okay, Trim Raver, maturity is an age, it is a destination. Concurred. Lions bad guy. Brad Holmes better be dang sure about this Giovanni Manu if he ain't going to get a guard like that in the second or fourth round. Yeah, wait and see what happens. And yes, Gary, you are right. Jamarco Jones, maybe this is an indication that he's ready to go a little bit more. Frank Tank, Tampa Bay Buccaneers game last year. How many sacks did the Detroit Lions have? And we still lost. That is also correct. Server, you better stop that JMO trade stuff. Yeah, I don't think he's going to go, but we've all been wrong before. Let's just say this. We get into the NFL draft and all of a sudden we find out JMO got traded, and then maybe we didn't know as much as we thought we knew. Gary, I want to center this draft. I could see them doing that, drafting somebody to kind of apprentice under Frank the Tank. So, yes, you tell him, Surfer. There you go. Let's see, Eddie's Fish. Offensive lineman Kobe Sorsdale out of William & Mary is next in line to start on the offensive line. Maybe. Hopefully he's made a good move upward. There we go. It says Trim. Kobe Sorsdale will be looking for an occupation. He sure can work at the docks. All right. Let's see. Frank Tank, I believe Eddie. As 411, Lions re-signed Zadarius Smith, the defensive lineman, and draft Golden. All right, maybe they do. Gary, Colby needs to show a major jump in development. I agree. We never really did see him last year that I can recall. Maybe I'm wrong, but if he was on the field, it wasn't much. Let's see, Thomas, smash the thumbs up. Yes, if you can hit all the buttons. Frank, think that dude's living in Fantasyland? Maybe. The Trim Reaper, yeah, we're missing some like buttons. Yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all the buttons. Lions bad guy. The offense was third best in the league, and the defense was fifth or seventh, according to PFF last year. Hey, sometimes they get stuff right. Sometimes I don't agree. Gary Harmon, Ivy, and re-sign Z. I like the way you're thinking. As for one, Lions trade with Pittsburgh. That could be a possibility. That could be. I could see that one. I would say, I could see why we would trade with the Saints. They need more. Same with Atlanta, same with Pittsburgh, and there's probably some other teams I'm not really thinking of. Thomas, Colby, and Martin better show something this preseason or bye-bye. Yeah, I'll agree. And Hendon, until he shows something on the field, his trade value is fifth rounder. All right, we'll go with that. Frank Tank, I don't care who it is. Anybody in this draft is going to have a hard time making the starting lineup for this team. I agree with that 100%. I think this team is pretty dang deep. You're going to have to be real impressive as a rookie to come on in and win a starting spot. But hey, hopefully we get that. Thomas, again, all I want this mock draft is 2 to 3 players who make an impact this year. Exclamation points. Don't care about 7 picks. Exclamation points. I care about 2 or 3 studs. Yeah, let's go for it. I like your mantra there. Server. If there is any good news, it will be Manu and his 360 pounds starting at guard, pushing gaping holes in the running game. Plus, he's very mobile, very athletic. I mean, I'm not the coach, but man, oh man, if you put him in there, and Mahogany's not slow either. I probably would be shot on sight, but I probably put him at one guard. I put Panay at another guard, and then I'd probably have Decker. And I don't know, I'd probably draft a left tackle because with those guards, with Panay and Manu, man, you could run so many sweeps and just maul people. I'm loving it. Kurt Steele, good mock draft. I'll take it. Trim Reaper, have a good day, coach and new crew. Woo! Back at you. Kurt Steele, boss up, ball up, mock draft 2.0 today. We'll be tuning in, seeing what the future foretells for us. Southwest, some guys are just crybabies. Knock it off, and the Duke crew did a good job of the draft. Yeah, I liked it all. And yeah, you can always go 20 different ways with a pick. It's majority rules with it. Independent Aquaman. PFF is unreliable. ESPN DNA is reliable. I'll have to check that out. Thanks for the heads up, man. And as always, Thomas Manu will not yet be an impact player this year. Maybe next year, exclamation point. But I would look to see what he would look like as a D lineman. He could push the tush. Yeah. How about this? You have him take the hike and push him forward. How about that? Thomas, of course, Silver Server, of course, Thomas Turner, 3 real good ones is all the Lions need. Real good ones. I'll take that. Yeah, 100%. Value over quantity. Quality over quantity, whatever you want to say. Southwest, you're an idiot if you think J-Mo going anywhere. Thank God you don't run the team, just run your mouth. Yeah, I think we all agree with it. Is there a chance he could be traded? Sure, there's a chance. There's a chance, anything could happen. But I don't think James Williams is leaving the building. Yeah, I'm with you, Southwest. Thomas, SS, absolutely. We don't need quantity. We need quality. I'll go with that. Quantity on backups where we need. Yeah, I'll go with, I concur. Imagine quality starters getting injured with no quality backups. And I mean in positions most likely to get injured based on style. I'll concur. Phil, Ali McNeil has lost so much weight he may have to play linebacker. I guess I didn't know that, Phil. Thanks for that. And by new Crunch Time guitars being shown. Let's see, Thomas, please, Brad, no more late round project wide receivers. How many years are we going to throw late round picks in the trash? Well, we'll find out. Sorry. Let's not forget about Yodi. He played well in place of Jonah Jackson, and we ran the ball well with him. Let's not mistreat him like poor Vildor. No, I agree. Yodi, I think he's shown real value as a backup, as a quality backup for us. And I do think the team has some good backups here and there. Doesn't mean you can't have more. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If there is some breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as soon as possible. If you would be so kind before you check on out, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, hit all the buttons, try to help the channel out. Other than that, have a great day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Be a good human being. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.